So I've been watching the news and all of this shipping crisis, shipping shortage, labor shortage, all of this stuff has me thinking, wow, online sellers could potentially be screwed because all of these overseas shipments are delayed big time. So today we're going to talk about how you could probably, first I'm going to explain this kind of shipping crisis so you understand why this is a problem, especially for you as an online seller. Then we're going to talk about how we can avoid it. Make me a deal if you get any value out of today's video, hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. If this is your first time here, make sure you stick around because we talk about all sorts of trending finance news. And then I've got a second channel, the Greyson Show, that actually talks about how to make money online in personal finance. If you would rather read me than listen to me, I also have a website, letsmakewifimoney.com. Check that down in the link in the description. But other than that, let's talk about how we all might be screwed. So the shipping slowdown, shortage, whatever you want to call it, is happening everywhere. And it's all connected. So if one part goes wrong, it affects the whole chain. So first of all, obviously COVID-19 was a major player in the shutdowns and the slowdowns. Obviously having to be quarantined sometimes, maintain social distancing, limited the amount of workers able to load and unload. So that was the beginning of the end really for the kind of a shipping crisis coming in. If you physically can't have enough people working, that's just going to backlog. So that was the first obvious player. Second player was the big floaty boy known as the Ever Given, who decided to Tokyo drift into the Suez Canal and clog that sungun up for 6 whole days. And let me just tell you how important these shipping routes are. The Suez Canal is a major port, but it has, I don't know if port's the right word, but anyway, with it being clogged up with the floaty boy, the Ever Given, it was costing $400 million per hour. And it was blocked for 6 days. So that's how important these canals, these routes are. Cargo ships are also getting bigger and bigger. In the early days, the largest cargo ships were able to carry about 58 containers. But now, all the way to 2021, they're able to handle up to, I think the largest one, I've got it right here, the largest one can hold up to 23,964 containers. So that's quite a jump from 56. Now that begs the question, are cargo ships holding too many containers? Are they getting too big? One of the main problems with the Ever Given was it was too big. There's too many containers stacked up. So essentially it acts as a giant parachute and it takes minutes to steer these things. It's not like a small boat or a car. Like it takes minutes to adjust direction. So if you get a gust of wind because you're basically a giant windshield, you're basically a giant parachute, it's going to drift you over. So the Ever Given issue is something that we might see more and more frequently, screwing us over in the long run. Now they're having these bigger ships because they can do more in one load, so it's more cost effective, helps with shipping times to keep up with frickin' Amazon getting stuff to you the next day. With that being an issue moving into the future, also, we are seeing the highest rate of cargo containers being dumped into the ocean in the past 7 years. And that's because, like I said, they're being stacked so high and the wind gusts are going over, and like if they even hit a wave, they're stacked so high that they can fall over. So shipments might be brought in and then they just totally get dumped. They have to complete that shipment, go back and try again. So that's just the little cherry on top of the problem with the shipping crisis. It's all a mess. So if you weren't already, you might now be worried, hey, you know, if I'm ordering giant bulk inventories from overseas, I might be screwed all the way to the people that are simply drop shipping an item or two from AliExpress every couple days, because that already takes like 3 weeks to get to your customer. And I'm not just talking about e-commerce online sellers, I'm talking about brick and mortar stores too. I mean, a lot of companies, you know, retail stores, buy like the little knickknacks and things you see at the checkout counters in bulk from online sellers overseas because it's so cheap. Like people like AliExpress or Alibaba buy a giant bulk, and then those giant containers, they've got to get here somehow. So causing a problem for retail stores as well. This affects all business. I mean, it affects the consumer too because, well, we'll talk about that. This isn't really going into the shipping crisis, but this is kind of how it's going to affect the consumer and you as a business owner as well. So, I mean, inflation is rising rapidly, of course. We all know that. So that means that the price of fuel, the price of labor, the price of equipment and materials to build these ships, to maintain these ships, to operate these ships are going up, which of course, at the end of the day, will be passed down onto the consumer as a higher price for goods. We know that, but that's something that you have to think about as a business owner, because your customers might not be happy if you're having to charge $15 for a phone case instead of, $9 or $8 or $10. And of course, this is a whole other topic for another video that we will be talking about, but the labor shortage. Finally, they get here. They finally get here. They're not lost in the ocean. They're not Tokyo drifting into the Suez Canal. They're here. But as you can see, there are thousands. There are thousands of ships hanging out around these ports, and I think there's 132 currently out the California port. There's just not enough people to unload these things. So they finally get here and there's no one here to unload it. So that doesn't help. And that's probably the biggest issue we're seeing right now, is simply the worker shortage. But that doesn't just affect that industry, it affects everyone. I mean, it's taken me 10 minutes to get a burger from Burger King these days. I wish they would have blocked inappropriate content on OnlyFans, because our fast food and restaurant industry said, hey, maybe those girls could throw on a hard hat and start unboxing some cargo shit. I don't know. They probably could have single-handedly helped this whole worker crisis. Whatever. We're not talking about that in this video. So blah, blah, blah. There's 100 million reasons that you might be worried as a e-commerce seller, a brick and mortar store buying bulk from overseas, or even just the consumer. But I'm gonna give you a quick 5 US suppliers that I think you guys should really check out in different niches. Now, I'm going to actually talk about this and break it down and review each site on the Greyson Roberts Show. That's my more like e-commerce, Wi-Fi money, breakdown, analytical, and this channel is just more like trending news and the bigger picture. So if you want to check out the in-depth details, but I'm going to just give you a list real quick, a quick summary, and you can go Google them yourself and see if they're right for you and your business. So hopefully all of this supply chain crap will not matter to you if you buy in US. And this just goes to show we need to focus more on US goods here. Sure, it might be more expensive, but it's gonna be more reliable, and we're not gonna have to rely on other things across the different countries that we can't control. Number 1 is Sunrise Wholesale, based in California, established in you don't care when it was established, 1999 if you do care. So this is a good kind of general supplier. They've got everything you would need, and I really like this one because I found, I was browsing through it and just curious, and I found this like cool fountain thing, and it said, we're gonna sell it to you for $24.99, but here's what it commonly retails for at $44.99 or something like that. So it tells you obviously the price you're gonna pay, but I really like how it tells you what it commonly retails for. So that's really helpful. But if you're looking for a general kind of AliExpress type thing, of course they do not have as low prices. They do not have the quantity, the sheer quantity of random products, but they are higher quality. They will get there faster, and of course they're more reliable, as you don't have to worry about this whole shipping crap. They have an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, so they're really good, really reliable, and go check them out if you're just looking for kind of a general array of items. Number 2 is Asi Partner. Now they sell IT products, anything from programs to software to hardware. So if you're a computer shop, computer store, a computer drop shipping, e-commerce website, check out, what was it? ASI Part. Number 3 is Tele Dynamics. They sell electronics. So if you're an electronic shop, you're looking for electronic parts, if you're an e-commerce seller, this would be a great one-stop shop for anything you need electronic-wise. They've been around for a while, since 1981, and they're established in Texas. Number 4 is Park Flyers. Now this is a really valuable one because it sells toys. With the upcoming holiday season, you might be like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm gonna get all these Christmas sales. Worry not, you've got plenty of toys with parkflyers.com. And if you're looking for cheap kind of generic clothing, which a lot of people crush at selling online, even people in stores and malls and kiosks, they just kind of buy generic clothes and sell them because, stores like Target, who sells a lot of random brands, stuff like that. Anyway, Buy2B. Clothing, shoes, and accessories established in 2010. They're pretty new. Also based in California, so if you're looking specifically for high quality, for the best prices, of course, and reliable shipping, clothes, shoes, and accessories, Buy2B is my personal suggestion. So that's kind of the crisis shipping explained in a nutshell, why it's going to affect you, and things you should do to avoid it. Here are my favorite suppliers. If you would like in-depth analytical analysis, and I'm gonna give you a different list too. This is kind of a general. I'm gonna give you probably a top 10 list on the other channel. Links in the description, you can subscribe to that, or you can simply read it at letsmakewifimoney.com. Greatly appreciate it. If you got any value out of today's video, hit that like and subscribe button. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know down in the comments below. I am not a shipping expert. I've never worked in the industry, and I've never met anybody who works in the industry. This is just a few hours of research I did and information I put together through reading articles and watching the news. So if I missed anything or you have anything to add to this video, let me know down in the comments below. I greatly appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in the next update.